Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Madame la Présidente est avec nous. Est-ce qu'on peut commencer?
Good evening, everyone. Is Madam President with us? Can we start? For those that speaks English, I would like to say that we have interpretation available. At the bottom of your screen on the right side, there is interpretation. So if you choose the language, or either English or French, to enable you to have an interaction, that would be better. Each one will use the either English or French, whatever language they feel better, you'll understand. I will make my interventions in English.
On the right of your screen. Mm. Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Do you hear me? Can you hear me? Please show by your hand if you can hear me in English. Yes. Okay, wonderful. So he's he's so Edith would like to put. He's not speaking. Do you hear me now? Yeah. So that's good. We can hear you. We had asked me to wait before starting because the president of the so that she gives me a chance of the UNCA to then enable me. I do not know if it's Edith. The president is not around, and so she's going to be the one to replace her today. So it's going to be Edith who is going to replace her. That's why I was waiting all this while. So you've just indicated now, so you'll understand my ignorance because it's the first time. So there's no problem. You can start, and then after that, once you'll ask if there any question, Edith Leberer will be the first one to ask you the question. So you may go ahead, Mr. Chair. So first of all, I thank you for the honor that you have done to me uh, for this time of your of your precious time. As you can imagine, it is a great moment, and with a lot of humility, really, that as the feeling as well that I've been honored at a personal level and through me and Niger to start the great moment for Niger to assume the presidency of the Security Council. As of today, we had the routine breakfast with the 14 other members, and we adopted the work program for the month. I'd like to say that Niger has is back to the Security Council after 40 years of absence. The last time that we were a member was in 1980 to 1981. As Ambassador Jani, uh, who has handed over, I will be open and do my best to build a consensus in the conduct of the affairs of the Council. I also would like to indicate right from the beginning the importance that I accord to the press and the work that you do, because you are the amplificators of our success. And unfortunately, whenever we fail, you are also obliged to amplify that as well. But I hope that during the month of September, that we shall have more things to celebrate, and that you'll be through and show positively what's going on in Security Council. As far as Niger is concerned, we are going to look for building consensus in the conduct of the council, the diplomacy balance, and indeed diplomacy is the search of a solution. So we try several times, and when we do not arrive at solutions, particularly to new problems, we invent them and including those solutions. So therefore, we are going to be very open to that with a very open heart and determination as well, and commitment to ensure that whatever issue is at hand in the agenda of the Security Council, that it should be well considered and in the interest of the countries for which they are object, and within the Security Council. As far as the regular meetings, we have very issues. If you can enable me, there is Libya. The situation will be considered tomorrow morning, and which is the first meeting of the third. We have the debate on Afghanistan and the issue, the Afghanistan UNAMA. So this month of September, there will be regular meetings of Yemen and peace and security in the Middle East, Syria, uh, uh, and Syria humanitarian. We shall also consider the issues pertaining to Sudan and South Sudan. There are also additional events, and in Libya, UNCIMAL, United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, UNAMA, and UNITAD and the verification mission in Colombia. In addition to the mandated meetings, the program includes 4 events that Niger intends to organize as part of its signature of its presidency in line with its priorities as follows. And now the first one is on September 8th. That is the contribution of the international organization of the Francophonie to the maintenance of international peace and security under Chapter 8. As you are aware, the Francophonie organization, with a membership of more than 84 members, uh, is not only of Francophones or French. As a whole, there's a diversity of different nations that are part of this Francophonie community and are not of the French language or the Francophone itself. Now, the second event will be September 10th, which will be focused on children and armed conflicts, attacks on schools as a serious violation of human rights, as a matter of concern in the Sahel region, with the Coma and the terrorist attacks. uh, about 3,000 schools are closed as we speak. Many teachers cannot go to school and teach the children, thousands of children that are out of school, and particularly young girls. This situation, in the context of COVID-19, it's of great concern, and particularly of affecting the young girls, conflict, sexual abuse, and early pregnancies, which have occurred more in this region, which is why, as this is of a great concern for Niger and for the region from where we come from, it is also of great concern to many other countries. And the last report of the Secretary General gave a state of affairs of 7 million children who have not, 17, uh, the next one will be a September 17th ministerial event on the humanitarian effects of environmental degradation and the peace and security. The 24th of September, we shall hold a summit, high-level summit debate on post-COVID-19 global governance in relation to the maintenance of international peace and security. This will be an opportunity for our leaders to have political discussions on the need for the current international system embodied by the UN and the Security Council to the necessary adjustment in order to effectively address traditional security threats such as conflicts, but also emerging ones such as organized crime and pandemics. So the COVID-19 uh, is what are we going to be able to structure a more resilient, a more just, a more fair world with less destruction of the environment, among others, and that can enable and facilitate the humanity to live in harmony and with nature. So this summit will be chaired by the President of Niger, His Excellency Mr. Issoufou Mahamadou. Invitations to the heads of state of the council are being sent out to this effect. So, as well as the chairperson of the African Union Commission and, of course, the United Nations Secretary General, who are part of the briefers. Um, so, colleagues have confirmed the participation of their countries, of which most are at the level of the heads of state. These are my introductive remarks, and I would like to once again thank you for the excellent role that you play as press and media alongside the Security Council and member states of the United Nations in general. Very open and welcome your question and your comment. I thank you again for having taken your time to attend this briefing, to open yourself to us, the first presidency of Niger in the UN Security Council. I'd like to give you the
Mr. President, on behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association, thank you so much for doing this briefing, and we hope that during your presidency, you'll come and do some more briefings for us whenever possible. And I think that since the vast majority of us are not at UN headquarters, we would also appreciate it if you could send us the contact information for your spokesman, who I believe is Apollo. So thank you again very much, and we very much look forward to your presidency. I have a question about the snapback mechanism on Iran. I am told that today is the deadline for a resolution to be introduced to extend the lifting of sanctions on Iran under the snapback provision. Have you received such a resolution? And the provision in Resolution 2231 states that if no participant state introduces a resolution, the president of the Security Council has to introduce a resolution 10 days after a notification of Iran's, and I quote, significant non-performance. Do you plan to introduce such a resolution? Thank you very much.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madam. Should I answer one question at a time? I'm not sure how
yes,
to
please.
proceed.
One question at a time is much better for us.
D'accord, merci.
Very well. Thank you very much, Edith, for asking me this most simple question of the year. It's the easiest question of the year, and I think it will be the easiest question to process and to work on during the Presidency of Niger at the Security Council. I'm very happy that we started the discussion without a round of observation. I thought that it was going to be like a boxing match, and that we're going to start with a little warm-up, but I can see that we're going right into the crux of the matter, and that's very well. Well, listen, the issue of the nuclear issue with Iran, as you know, it's been the issue around which we've shown that we were united, between quote, at the level of Security Council. This week, the notification which was put forward to trigger the snapback process was done on August 20th. So if you include August 20th in your question, you said that if the president of the Security Council didn't introduce a resolution, the president of the council has to do it within 10 days. And you know today is September 1st, so we are at the 11th, almost or the 12th day after that day. So in relation to resolution 2231, what should have happened should have been done in terms of bringing up a resolution or introducing a resolution yesterday, or at the latest yesterday. So as of today, at the very moment I'm talking to you, as of now, I haven't received any notification of a resolution by my predecessor or by any member state of the Security Council, and I've not received any formal request by anyone in this regard. So allow me to be very clear here. When we had the last meeting regarding this issue, the president of the Security Council, Ambassador Jani from Indonesia, draw some conclusions. I shouldn't say he drew a conclusion. He actually, made a statement of the situation as it was, and the division was made. A number of countries reacted in writing to express their opposition, and according to what was said by Ambassador Jani, who just transferred the presidency to me, as you know, there was not really any need to act on the basis of what he noticed and what he had in hand. So this is the information that I can give you. This is the answer that I can give you. No, at this stage, I haven't received no proposal for a resolution in relation to this process.
And does that mean that in 10 days, you will follow this provision in 2231 and introduce a resolution yourself on behalf as president?
Non, madame, je crois que
No, madam, I don't think you maybe understood me when you quoted, you mentioned the resolution 2231. It's 10 days starting on the day of the notification. So 10 days starting on the day of the notification. The notification was done on on September 20th. So 10 days after the 20th, it is the 31st of August at the latest. Today we are September 1, and we are 12th day after that. So I think that on the basis of the resolution 2231, if there had to be a notification, it should have been done yesterday at the very latest, therefore under the presidency of Indonesia. That's the way I understand the matter.
Thank you for clarifying that.
merci beaucoup. Merci encore.
Thank you very much. Thank you again.
Ambassador, it's Michelle Nichols here from Reuters. I just have a very quick follow-up question. You mentioned the statement made by the Indonesian ambassador as president of the council last month, saying that no further action should be taken, and basically that the US attempt to trigger snapback would not be recognized. Now you are president. As president, do you still agree with that statement that no further action should be taken on this US attempt to trigger snapback?
Merci, madame. Pour le moment,
Thank you, madam, for your question. At this point, we are staying where we are right now. If there's an evolution, a change in relation to this matter, we will consider it. But since it has been made, and since the statement that's been made by the president of the previous in the previous months of the council, no action has been made. And at this hour, I haven't been contacted for any other measures. So we are staying with this decision of the Security Council that was stated and announced by the president of the Security Council last month. This is what I can give you and tell you at this time.
Ambassador Abarry, it's Pamela Falk from CBS News. Congratulations for the month, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you for the briefing. Just to kick this around one more round, as far as we understand, or I understand from 2231, you still have until September 20th for you to initiate, for the council presidency to initiate a resolution. Are you in agreement with Ambassador Johnny that no further action needs to be taken? That's the real question right now. And what was your conversation with Secretary of State Pompeo about this, since you did get to sit down with him when he was in New York? Thank you so much. We're looking forward to the month.
merci pour cette.
Thank you very much for this new easy question. Yes, I had the honor to be received by Secretary of State Pompeo. It was a fairly constructive discussion during which we talked about the excellent relations that we have today between the United States of America and Niger in the area of the fight against terrorism, but also, as you know, Niger being a country in the Sahel region, we are experiencing some difficulties in the with agriculture and in terms of food security. And the United States, through the NCC, are developing currently an agricultural program of about $500 million in Niger. So I mentioned this issue. And I mentioned it to Secretary of State Pompeo to take this opportunity to thank the American people and the U.S. government, and of course the issue of the nuclear matter with Iran, came up during our discussions. And the commitment that we have as Niger is concerned is to say that all that we can do to contribute positively and constructively to the proper reviewing of this nuclear Iranian issue at the level of Security Council, we will do, taking into account the excellent relationship and friendship that exists between the United States and Niger. So there's not an anchoring point in particular, in this regard. You need to have a resolution, you need to initiate a resolution, this or that, you need to do this. No, it was a general discussion, and I must say that was honored and very satisfied by the vision that was expressed by the Secretary of State Pompeo on that occasion. Going back to your question, which was, am I just staying with the Ghanaian position? Yes, of course, I need to stay there. The Security Council is a matter of continuity, and Ambassador Jani, as the ambassador of Indonesia, has not decided on the basis of his own personal position. A notification was made. 13 member states of the Security Council have expressed a position in relation to this notification. Up until there would be maybe new facts, and I haven't seen any yet, we are staying at the level of Security Council aligned with this position as expressed by the Ambassador Jani. So I don't know if this answer that I've already given about 3 times in a row is sufficient. If it's not sufficient, maybe you can reformulate your question a 4th time, or maybe you will force me, to give you more information. It's like a boxing match, as I say. As long as you're not, going on my flank, I will stay, with my guard pretty high, and you won't find an opening to hit me with an uppercut. So anyway, I'm waiting for maybe another hit, so that I'm forced to lower my guard.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. From my point of view, it was fully answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ambassador,
Thank you.
may I follow up on this issue, please? You sent a letter on the 21st of August. My name is Ali Barada with France 24. You sent a letter on August 21st with 3 other countries, Tunisia and St. Vincent and Grenadine and South Africa, saying that the U.S. is not a participant anymore in the JCPOA. Are you still standing with this letter that you signed, or as a president, you might change your mind?
Vous savez, c'est quand même très difficile de...
It's very difficult. One signature is not of one individual. It's a decision, it's a position. It was expressed, and through what we say A3+1 that you have cited, we indicated that in diplomacy we look for solutions. If we had to change or bring in some nuance of a position in order to attain a higher objective that would have a better impact on a situation that we have at hand, why not? But for now, we have signed this letter. We do not have the intention to postpone it. We did sign it in harmony and with full consciousness, and with other members of the Security Council, as long as there'll be no additional event that would then bring in a fear of a greater ill than a better good. We shall still maintain our position. I thank you, Mr. Ratta. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. The 24th of September, it's going to be a debate at the heads of levels. So apart from your president, who are the other heads of state who have confirmed? Will you have the participation of President Trump? On the 9th, you have a meeting which is open, NEPS. What does that mean? Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ratta. As regards the first question, it is summit level. We are awaiting the confirmation of all the heads of state. So all the heads of state are going to receive the invitation from the president of Niger, and certain colleagues at the breakfast this morning indicated the attendance of their president. So we are still awaiting the confirmation of other presidents, and President Macron has not yet confirmed his attendance. The Germans indicated the highest level at which their country will be represented. This morning, I did not have an opportunity to speak with my colleague, the Illecraft, who is not in New York. So we shall await to hear a response from each of this country, where they will decide the level of the participation. It might not be the head of state himself, but there might be a high level personality that will be, and has the right. And so the METPS, I'd like to say it on your platform, is the contraction of my my experts say these are abbreviations. There are so many abbreviations that we cannot manage, that it means maintenance of peace and security. It is under maintenance of peace and international security that the theme will be discussed. I hope that I've managed to respond to your question, dear brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador. You did so.
Hello, Ambassador. My name is Ibtisam from Al Arabi Al Jadid newspaper. Congratulations on the presidency and thank you for the press briefing. So I have just, I apologize, I have a follow-up on Iran and then a question on Libya. On Iran, you said if, in your comment, you said if there will be an additional or any event, then maybe there will be a meeting. Could you clarify there? And then my question on Libya is regarding the meeting tomorrow. Is it going to be open meeting or not? Could you say more? Who's going to brief? And also, is there any movement in the council regarding Libya envoy? And what do you think about the fact that until now, months after the departure of Mr. Salami, we still don't have an envoy? Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As regards Iran, I had indicated that there may be new factors that are coming up. As you know, the 1st of September, there is a meeting of the JPCO. I have not yet gotten the outcome of this meeting today, and maybe there may be an outcome out of this meeting because we have a blockage within the Security Council, as you know, and maybe in their wisdom, the members of the JPCA could carry forward the discussions. They have, it's taken them 13 years before the signature of this agreement, and indeed it is set up with a mechanism of interpretation and settlement of conflicts and of differences. So maybe we should have the white smoke coming out of one of the roofs in New York. And if this were to be the case, then, and if by chance this is what we are wishing for very strongly, and if this white smoke can move over to Vienna, why not? So in their intelligence, the member states of the JPCA, who are the permanent members of the Security Council, they have a lot of intelligence and a lot of facilities, and we count on them to support them to not go backwards. They have signed an agreement, and with us accompanying them, we need to move forward and work in this direction. This is what I would like to share in harmony. As a response, you will also realize that I keep, this is the fifth blow that I've received, but I'm maintaining my defense quite high, and so I've not yet moved. So if I have a blow on my neck, it will be very painful. Now, as regards Libya, tomorrow there'll be an open debate on Libya and Niger. We attach particular importance to this brother country. Our northern frontier, our northern boundary, since 2011 in Libya, what has been going on in Libya has a direct impact in Niger and other countries, neighbors to Libya, and in the Sahel region in general. So we shall place special attention in considering this situation. What was already agreed on in Berlin, and thank you to um, Merkel for having moved the issue of Libya forward, and what has been undertaken as commitments in Berlin is not being respected. The embargo on arms still not being respected. There's been certain number of advancements in the European mission, and particularly in a difficult situation that they find themselves in, and the maritime waterways, which need to be monitored and to so the what's going on the ground and the land is less supervised. So indeed, Libya has become an icon where all the different threats and machinery, the dissemination of weapons of war, and which indeed interfere with the peace and security. And the situation in Libya has become very complex, and particularly with the destruction of hospitals, maternity, killings that are rampage of killings on children and women, refugees uh, and as and asylum seekers. So before Libya was having of peace, but now is suffering tremendously. On the question that you asked about the appointment of the replacement of Mr. Salame, he left Libya beginning of March, which also coincided with the COVID-19. I believe that there are very intense consultations within the Security Council to enable the appointment of a new special representative or Secretary General for Libya, because if we want to give a chance to the political process, it is very important that there should be this personality that can forge the consensus, the international consensus, and the issue of Libya cannot be solved unless there is a multilateral setting for that, which is why within the United Nations, being the multilateral platform, this is where it can mostly be successful. This is what I wanted to share, and this is the sentiments of the A3+1 as well as the members of the Security Council as a whole.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from Toby Burns?
Thanks very much, Edie. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Est-ce que vous allez rencontrer ce mois-ci...
are you going to meet...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, could you repeat your question?
Just wondering if you're intending to meet about North Korea this month and the 17-18 committee, le comité 17-18.
The committee of 17-18. I do not think so, because it does not, it's not on our program for September, unless there's a country that may wish to get it inscribed in the Security Council. This is what you'll find being done at the end of the presidency. So this morning already, the ambassador of Indonesia was looking to hold 15 events, but he ended up holding 50 meetings. So therefore, it's not excluded that this item may be included, and it is not on the agenda as we have today. I do not know if I responded to your question.
I think you did. I saw that Stefano had his hand up. Stefano? Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador. Congratulations again. It's just a follow-up on a question of my colleague on Libya. Well, I have to tell you that we expected a little more on your answer because, you know, your country is a bordering country. So thinking that maybe you could come up with some new idea, understand that maybe you can share it, but try to tell us what's going to be different on this, the Security Council with you there on trying to shake up the situation because they're getting worse instead of getting better. And I think that your country, you know, has something at stake there. So what you can tell us more on what you're going to trying to do from Libya this month? Thank you.
Merci pour cette question.
Thank you for this very relevant question. Indeed, we are very, concerned by the situation in Libya. There are, in fact, very few countries that can be as preoccupied as we are. But you know that the levers of the solutions for the Libya, and I want to be very frank with you here, they are not in the hands of the neighboring countries. The solutions might not even be in the hands of certain members of the Security Council. And I can tell you very sincerely and between us that if there is really a situation where we don't know about Libya, when you look at all the people that were in Berlin, all the nice words that were said, the things that were signed, and at the same time, when you look on the ground in Libya, what is going on, it's really a very worrying solution, but it's also a very complex situation where you have the multiple powers at play here. You have multiple interests involved. We have political interest and people playing politics, and you have various parties and stakeholders that have various interests. In short, we are in the middle of this whole and very complex situation. So, as a country, Niger last month has started to sit down with a number of heads of, and people who had Libya. We know them well, and we are fairly close to them. So we work quietly, if I may say, to try to speak to the people that we know already in Libya and with which or through which we can convey a number of messages, and we'll continue to do that. We will amplify the role and the coordination between all the neighboring countries, but we will ask the African Union to convene this meeting about reconciliation that we've been talking for several months now, but which is taking too much time to materialize. So these are the levers that we have in our hands. These are the levers that we have, and the levers that we have, we'll use them in the best possible way. The levers that are out beyond our control. You will agree with me that we will. Agree with me that we can only just repeat the truth and everybody will listen, but not everybody will really hear what we are saying or what we'll say. And maybe that's also another to be pedagogical, you have to repeat things a number of times, and at some point when you say the truth and sometimes people you don't hear it the first time, but you need to repeat it a number of times, and maybe this repetition will be a factor and will be useful for those people who have the key to solve these very inextricable and very complex situation that we have in Libya, so that because when we talk about Libya in our meetings or in press conference such as this one today, we have the feeling that it's just an object. Libya is a country. It's a country with people who live there, with women, with children who live there, who suffer, who are not able, the children are not able to go to school, who don't have access to health care. So the very fundamental human rights are violated. And can we have a clear conscience while we just look at this terrible tragedy? I can tell you that from the bottom of our heart, and I say this in the most sincere way, we're going to try and we're going to keep talking to the members of the Security Council and to the members of the international community to say that is enough. That is enough in Libya. We cannot go on like this. We cannot continue facing this distressful situation. The Libyan people don't want war anymore. They want peace. They don't need that many people actually come on the ground in their country to put, especially they put mercenaries there, transforming Libya in a very country filled with weapons. Libya had already a lot of weapons before this started, and it is this Libyan arsenal that is in part the cause of this destabilization of the Sahel countries and of the terrible situation that we are going through in the Sahel region and as countries that are neighboring Libya. So this is the way that I feel this situation in relation to the hopes that we can have, but also to express my disappointment, because it seems that there's an ability to work together, really, to get over this very difficult situation in Libya and to have a positive solution.
I see that David Wayner has a question, and then Dulcie.
Thank you very much, Edie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Ambassador, I just want to thank you very much for doing this. I just want to confirm that we understand your position correctly on Iran. Can you just confirm that you will not be introducing a resolution on Iran during the month of September? And also just confirm your opinion whether the U.S. has the right to invoke the snapback. Do you believe that the U.S. has the right to invoke snapback on Iran? Thank you very much.
Merci.
Thank you, Mr. David. The right, the right to act, each country is sovereign and can do whatever it wants. It's not a question of the right, it's a question of the legal basis, but any country is sovereign and can decide and can make its own interpretation of the law. So yes, the United States have a right to act and to do whatever they want to do. The United States have a right, are entitled to support what they want to do in the best, way they feel they should do. I don't think that anyone can challenge that. It's a sovereign right, and they're exercising a sovereign right. Doing so, I don't see who in the international community could deny them the right to exercise that right. For the United States, it's a well-known country on the international level for respecting the rule of law. So we're not going to start giving lessons, and the United States in the area of the rule of law, quite the opposite. It's a country that is a source of inspiration and which has been an example, throughout the world in this area. So now, going to the issue of the resolution, the question was asked first. The resolution 2231 is talking about a resolution of introducing a resolution 10 days after the issue has been referred to the Security Council through a notification. The notification, as I said, was presented on August 20th, 10 days after August 20th. It is at the latest August 31st. So today we are September So today we are September 1, 12th day after August 20th. The president of the previous month didn't think that it was advisable to do so. And it's not just the president of the Security Council, actually, who has the initiative of this resolution. Any other member state of the Security Council can do it, and the United States themselves can do it. So it's not just the president of the Security Council who is, who has to do it. It is an initiative that is taken on a collective level, and any country that is sitting a member of the Security Council, including the United States, can decide and can take the initiative to table such a resolution. Now, so I hope I have answered to all the questions that were related to this issue. Far from us the idea to you should know that it's absolutely not our intention. Go ahead, I was done.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Dulcie?
Yeah, thanks very much, Ambassador. I wanted to go back to your meeting with Secretary of State Pompeo because there's a lot of curiosity about it. Did he talk about President Trump coming to the UN on September 22nd to speak at the UN General Assembly? Did he confirm that the Trump wants to do this and perhaps will want to address the Security Council as well? Thanks.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madam. For the time being, I'm not aware of such an initiative. I have heard here and there that some high-level people would probably come to New York, but I really don't know much, and I certainly don't know anything about the U.S. president. And this morning, the permanent mission of the United States to the UN did not confirm that, so I cannot confirm that. But as you know, it is always a real pleasure and a real honor to welcome high-level officials, at the level of Security Council, people who are very important at the level of the international community, and President Trump obviously is one of them. So this is what I can tell you at this time.
You said that you heard some high-level people would be coming or might be coming. Can you say who those people are? Thank you.
Madame, on n'a pas de liste.
I don't have a list. Some colleagues have mentioned, including of some high-level officials from Africa. Some have mentioned that maybe some high-level officials from the Middle East might come, maybe to try to lower the tension in the area of another very complicated and tense situation there. But that is also something I cannot confirm. These are discussions between some of my colleagues. There's no basis there that I could here officially confirm anything in my capacity at this time.
Does anybody else have a question? I don't see any hands. Oh, Benny Avni. You're muted. Unmute.
Okay. So I still think that that question was not completely answered. The question is simply, does Niger plan to put any resolution regarding the snapback in the month of September?
Cela ne nous a pas été.
No one has requested that we do that. No one at the level of the Security Council. And the timetable that we have to comply with so that we can ourselves self-refer, give us ourselves the right, to do that. That the timetable, that deadline was yesterday, that's 10 days as stipulated in the resolution 2231. It was, as said Madame earlier, it's 10 days after the notification. If the notification was made on August 20th, and we are today, September 1, clearly, so yesterday was the 11th, and today is the 12th day after that. So at this time, I don't feel like I have an obligation under Resolution 2231 to self-refer, myself, I'm here today on September 1 to present me as President of the Security Council and Permanent Representative of Niger, a resolution regarding the JCPOA and the nuclear issue with Iran. I think I've been very clear about this issue, in my answer. No one has approached me and requested that, and the obligation to do it spontaneously, that is up to the president that was in charge of the Security Council during the period of 10 days that started after the day of the notification, starting on August 20th. And unless there is another interpretation of Resolution 2231, and that maybe the 10 days timetable can be renewed. I'm not aware of that in that case, but in any event, out of all the interpretations that I've heard or read, I haven't heard that there is the tacit or implicit renewal of the 10 days timetable and deadline, 10 days at a time. No. So do you think I've answered properly your question?
So as of now, the answer is no.
I am told that the ambassador has another engagement. I would like to thank him very much on behalf of UNCA for doing this press conference. And I hope you will all take out something to write on now, because I have the name and contacts of his spokesman, Mr. Apollo Boube, Boube. His email is aboube@gmail.com. And his phone number is 404-988-2391. I'm going to repeat all of that. aboube@gmail.com, 404-988-2391. And thank you again, Mr. Ambassador, on behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association. And we look forward to seeing you often.
C'est à moi de vous remercier,
The
Madame.
pleasure is all mine, Madam, and through you reiterate again to all the journalists who are present here my availability to interact with you, individually or a group. So certain questions were not fully answered, and that you could call the spokesperson and to call me directly. I will be very pleased to discuss with you, and will be very happy and proud to hold this session over and over again. And thank you for having given me this opportunity to interact with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.